Hi guys, thank you for clicking on this video. I have got a special segment for you today. It's going to be very different to my usual content. I'm sitting down with a couple of my girlfriends and we are going to have an open discussion over our breakfast table. We're talking about being a strong black woman, we're talking about masculine energy, we're talking about relationship. It's great because it's not just my perspective, but this is going to be like a real life scenario. So because of that, guys, I just want to make you aware you might hear a few cutlery cling together, a lot of laughing, but yeah, it was a great conversation, so I wanted to share that with you guys. Disclaimer, all of the cutlery noise will eventually go away. It wasn't planned at all, so it's a little bit rough around the edges, but I promise you it is a great conversation. Join in the conversation, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, support my channel. I'm trying to bring to you guys great content. In the description is my PayPal and my Cash.app. If you are new to my channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Guys, hit the thumbs up button. I really do appreciate you all. Let's just dive right into the conversation. Masculine energy and being feminine. Especially with black women as well. I feel like the black woman comes across as like assertive. She knows what she wants. It's like, oh, you've got masculine energy, or like you're not feminine enough. Or if, for example, her and her man are having a conversation and she's not agreeing to him, then it's like, you're not submissive, like you need to tone it down, you need to be more feminine.
I just think it's just immature to the most part. That's my fault. Because what makes you think, like, it's just like what we were saying yesterday, talking about, you know, conversations with Mr. Man. When we're having a conversation, it can be heated conversation. You'd almost think we're fighting, but we're not. You have your say, I have my say. And you gotta respect that I have to have my say as well. It's not just about, yes sir, yes sir. Then in your heart you're thinking, oh, for heaven's sake. You know what I mean?
I feel like men, I feel like they might even have the wrong idea of what it even means to be masculine and to be a man. Because if you feel like a guy, if you feel like a woman just has to be like, yes ma'am, like, or yes sir, all the time when you say something and not even like rebut it. Okay, so I've got a friend and he feels like he must have called me aggressive because I said I was around my sisters and we were just laughing and stuff like that, like we were just having a good time. And he was like, oh, you know, when you're around your sisters, you're so like loud and aggressive. What? I was like, but we were just like laughing. We were just laughing, having a good time. My sister was doing like a whole drill scene. Yeah. And we were just having a good time. And I was like, yeah, when I'm around my sisters, obviously we're like, we're so dumb together, like we're just doing our thing. But I don't understand how that's aggressive. And then we must have so I left it as that. Then we must have gone out bowling, my sisters and then their family as well. We went bowling. And I must have been like to my sister, oh, I'm just so hungry, like I want to get something to eat before we start bowling. Yeah. Then his brother's like, oh, you're so aggressive. What? And I was like, I'm actually getting really pissed off that you guys just keep throwing this word around. And
there's need for the definition.
I think that's like, what do you mean by aggressive? Oh, I'm hungry. Does that make me aggressive? And I wasn't even saying it in like, I wasn't even saying it the way I'm speaking now. I was just like, oh, I'm hungry. I just want to go get food. You are aggressive. My sister just rolled it down to like, they're fresh and they don't obviously know what the word means.
That's what I was about to say.
Or like back home, it's like they're not used to that.
You're not used to stuff like this.
But even like, this is I think another thing you find with African men. They want the whole experience of be the woman, be submissive, the yes ma'am, yes sir kind of person and all that. But you want a woman who does that, go and grind. You can't expect me to go and work and then I'll come and say yes sir when I'm the one buying the food.
And also I feel like they want to immature. I feel like when you are dealing with women that are like have come into themselves, they're a lot older, they've been living by themselves, like they've got their own lifestyle. You want them to now just submit to like your rulership, like without like, you know, there has to be conversations, there has to be compromise on both parts. And I'm always like, if you want someone like that, go and date someone younger. Go and date someone that's like 20 years old, 19 years old, where you can just tell them anyhow and they don't know any better.
And that's where like the double standard is, I think, for me, like where I get really frustrated because it's like, they're like, oh, it's 21st century. They pick and choose
what they want in the 21st century.
Oh, you know, both parties should be able to pay, for example, on the first date. It's like, but yet you want a woman who is going to be like,
yes, sir.
Yes, sir, but you still want her to bring in
the money as well.
the money. It's like what you were saying. If you want that, then be all of the man that
be the men that we know that I'm the woman. I stay at home. You bring the money. I make the home.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
bring in the.
You make the house. I make the home.
You understand?
Like,
so do all of those things and we're fine. But if you don't do those things, don't expect anything.
Do you think it happens more in the black community, like with black men, or is it just like men in general?
We can only say the black community because we're not white. We don't know.
I think it's a cultural thing because
I think it is.
Because if I was put in this side of the family, there are certain things that they don't even bother about doing. Like like one of the things was like what's the saying when we went over to visit, and then I was like, oh, I need to give a shower before we get to bed. The grandma went on to the granddad. Can you go and sort out the shower for Garcia so she can have a shower? Fix the shower, literally adjust it so it's shorter so you can really fit Garcia's height.
That's how I know, like, guys should be that, like, help out. Like, don't just sit around and wait for
this is his father. So this is like, the granddad fixing everything, making it for his own granddaughter and stuff like that. But the grandma is sitting there, whereas in our culture, but I'm thinking, we is African. My father-in-law is the one trying to
never see that in an African household.
I even had to go and kind of like, you fall around just to, just thinking, just chill. And even when she slept, because they slept down with the cousin, they slept downstairs. And then it was time to go to bed. And Big Mama said, I will pick her up and take her to bed. By the time he had said it, I already picked up the child. Like, I was kind of like, I think
you wasn't used to it.
You probably just look at me. I just
so that's another angle though, right? Because even sometimes a man, like, I hear that a man wants to feel needed, and sometimes like when you are used to being a woman that does everything for yourself,
it's harder to let
the guy in. So I feel like,
but that's not as common. It's more rare.
I think it is more common than you might think. 1, 2, 3.
But like when you look at the general consensus, it's like you don't really see men doing a lot of what a woman role is.
But even just like helping in general though, like I feel like even down to like picking up the bags or like picking up the example that you just gave. Sometimes like let the guys be guys and let them do what they have to do and let them pick up the stuff and all of that. And even just to like open up a jar, and my guy friend was there and I proper like, I was struggling, but I didn't even think to ask him, and he was just like, let me help. Like guys love me sort of thing.
Fresh and different older generation are
like they
don't think about
like that.
They don't even think about it.
I don't think that's generally true, because I have friends that are fresh or like obviously grew up in Africa, and they still have like the mindset.
I get what you mean, because there was a video that I watched. It was a father washing his baby, and he was proper like doing the washing. I don't know if it's like a traditional thing in certain places in Africa. He was really washing the baby, and like people were just flooding the video with comments like, "Wow, like it's amazing to see a dad actually doing that." So I get where you're coming from, because there are some African men like that actually are very hands-on.
My stepdad is very like, he was very good. Like even though we did get along, like my problem with him is that he just doesn't feel like women should speak. Like it's almost like you have the final say. You can't really bring your opinion because it seems like quite combative.
But I think that's like what you're trying to say. Like I think we might say it's cultural. I guess the background of it is cultural. It has always been women are the cookers, the cleaners, the baby bearers, and all sorts of things. The men will go and hunt and bring in the food. But as we are growing, it's no longer like that. Both men and women are going out to work. If you're working, and if I'm finishing a shift at 8 o'clock and you finish work at 5 o'clock, why do I have to get home and start cooking? When there's you and the kids to feed. When there's you and the kids to feed, why are you waiting for me to get home 3 hours later?
It's that mindset, isn't it? It's like
it's the mindset that you're waiting for me to do stuff like that. That pisses me off. Like get up.
It's not even just with the African household. Like I've got a Jamaican friend, and in her household, none of the men would touch anything to do with the kitchen or anything. So
even the whole like gender roles and like the man takes care of you and then the woman stays at home and work. That's actually like a worldwide sort of thing. Because when you think about, like you touched on it, when you think about back in the days, women weren't even allowed, the women's rights, we weren't even allowed to work, we weren't allowed to do certain things. And so men would obviously be the ones to go out and come back, and then the woman had to take care of the home. And so now we are allowed to work, we have a lot more opportunities, and I think men need to be able to sort of accept that and adjust. You get what I mean? It doesn't mean that we're trying to take over your role. It doesn't mean that we're like...
But some men, the funny thing is, some men don't mind it. Yeah. But it's almost like they want you to do everything. Like the balance is not there. It's like they say that they don't mind a strong woman. But
they do! I hate
that. It's like you're too strong with your opinion. They say they want a soft woman, but you're too emotional. You do what I mean? It's like...
had this conversation, and it's like her husband, he's always like, oh, I want a strong woman, I want an independent woman, yada yada yada. But now being married to her, she was like, he doesn't want this. This is what he thinks he wants. He likes the idea.
I think it's the exactly. I think it's the idea. It's when you're actually faced with life. You know, like with the current situation at the moment. I'm saying, I'm viewing things no longer on the, oh my God, he's good looking. Oh my God, he's I'm viewing things on a life basis of things. Like thinking, oh my God, there's life more than just your looks. Yeah. You know, looks don't buy a bread shop. Yeah. So it's just like, what exactly, like when you're looking at life, the life difficulties, because you're doing this, the forever business, and you're looking at it from a forever perspective, from everyday life of living with somebody else.
And I think guys also think that girls don't look at these sort of things. They feel like they're the only ones that look at a girl and see, is this a person that I can actually spend the life?
Well, the joke of it is when you date someone, the moment you decide to date the person is because you could see your babe is already looking at you.
We look for these things too. It's
you're already shopping for your wedding dress.
Us out. Like, you're not the only person making a decision here. We're also making a decision. You're going to be the father of my children, potentially. Do you know what I mean?
You're already thinking,
like, you see, I'm just... come on now. And I'm sure, like, maybe back in the day, because women didn't have much to offer, they were compromising a lot more. They were probably saying, like, this guy's got this, he's got that, so, you know, it's what it is, I'm going to take him. But now we have stuff to bring to the table as well. Do you get what I mean? And so I think there just needs to be an adjustment.
Is there even a thing as a strong black woman?
I feel, take that narrative out the window, please, because I don't like it. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it almost is like a cop-out. So you're strong and you're black. Automatically, as soon as they see you, when you go to the hospital, they don't take you seriously. When you go to work, they treat you anyhow because you can just take it. You're a black woman. Even our men, how they treat us, they treat us. Some men can really treat you so down and dirty. And you're like, you're going to treat another human being like this. Yeah. It's just ridiculous. Like, that's what I personally
Where do you think it comes from?
Maybe just like back in the day, probably slavery.
Like history.
Yeah, history.
I just think
how we used to give
immaturity
birth.
as well. I think immaturity because if you can't handle your woman's energy, why are you dating her?
But girls also submit themselves to that sort of thing.
Narrative.
Yeah.
I think some people. I think it's more like what every person kind of thinks what works for a relationship for them. Like if you think you being submissive to your man is what works for you, fine.
I think there's a problem with submission though. Like I feel like everybody. Talking
definition
about
of submission.
That's what I was going to say. Remember when we had the live on Instagram? It was like we actually just need to define
what you mean is being submissive. So I think it's like when you're with someone who is who can't stand your, because I think it's almost like me. Men tend to think I'm too strong for them.
What do you think? How would you define yourself?
I am strong-minded.
What does that mean?
To me, it's like I hardly break down in a conversation. Like, you know, like what I was saying, like you are in a conversation with your man. Yeah. You're having a conversation about something. You are disagreeing. I'm not just going to break down just because you're my man.
Yeah.
See, okay, so this is what I've learned though, like and this is what I want to work on, because I think that like of recent years, I'm definitely like, I'm not going to subdue my opinion just because I have feelings too. I'm not going to just like, override my feelings with yours. But then my mum is teaching me that like, peace.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't mind peace.
No, but this is what I'm learning, like, because I am
for peace sake.
For peace sake, sometimes it's like back down at that moment, and maybe another time talk about it later.
That's the thing. It's like, I think it's understanding your man, because one thing that I've learned is that some men that have really like strong opinionated, sometimes they'll want to put their foot down just for ego's sake.
Yeah, it is.
Like, they probably, what you're saying is probably right, but because of their ego and like, oh, you want to have the last say? Yeah, nah, it's definitely not happening.
my problem is always when, if you come up with a conversation and you don't know your facts. Majority,
you're like,
what you're saying is stupid. Even my old
her foot down, she's like, no.
What you're saying doesn't make sense.
Even my old boss didn't like that, because he always said, "Oh, you're just like me." His wife was called me. You're just like me. You're just like me. And I'm like, well, if you don't know what you're talking about, don't come up in here telling me things that you think they're correct when they're not.
I know what you mean, but
just
like,
sit there
in a marital home, like, let's say, like, if you're in your home, like, you will get to a point where you're like, you know what, I just want peace. Like,
we're just like, I don't mind, but remember, like we were saying yesterday, like, would have a heated argument about something, and I think you are not saying what you're saying is not true. What you're saying, that's not how it works. So I'm not going to just back down because let's have peace, right?
But also,
we'll do it later. Don't get me wrong, we will do it. But I'm just saying, we're going to have this conversation. And I want you to see what the truth is. Don't just tell me just because you're the man. So you're just going to agree. I'm not just going to agree with you about this. So you say that, I'll just like, and I walk off.
The art of like finessing as well. Like, I'm learning how to.
You have to trick them. You have to make them think that they're gonna get the final say. But you know, because what I found anyway is that later they will actually do what you told them to do in their own time. So you think that, oh, I spent most of my time arguing when I could have saved that and just made you think that you was right when you're gonna end up doing what I told you in the first place. So
it's right, but they're just like, they don't want that combative energy.
No,
and I think, like, if you really think about it, like, what are you gonna lose? By just like you know you're right. They will also know you're right. What are you going to lose?
How often are you going to be doing every day? Like, I know I'm okay, but I'm
but I think eventually they will start being like, yeah, I'm just going to listen to you. Because I do believe that eventually, no, I swear down. I believe that, from personal experience, I have seen that later on, they also think, do you know what, for peace sake, like, fine, like, I'm just gonna dead the conversation.
No. In normal conversation, like, isn't like, you know, like peace in the home and stuff like that.
I'm all
about peace. Like, I'm always like, okay, fine, you know what, we're not gonna have that conversation. But there's certain things, that's why I said that there's certain specific conversations that you're having, and I'm like, I mean, for goodness sake, really.
Wishful thinking if you think that you and your husband are not going to have like heated moments. That's just ridiculous. You will. My auntie was like, this is what she does when they have an argument and she knows she's right. She's like, okay, do you know what? I'm going to let you have it. Then she's like, I wait until it's bedtime. I put on my little skirt. I will like ignore him, put on my little skirt and stuff like that. This is what she was telling me. I was like, auntie, I cannot.
There's aunties up there.
And then she was like, and then sooner or later, give it like a few minutes, he'll be like, babe, you know, like, I'm sorry, like, come over here.
Right.
So she know that's what works. I'm not saying that every girl has to do that, but that's what works.
Definitely.
On that point as well, though, I hate that there's like a general rule on relationships and how people should be, because I've come across some women and some men in the same relationship, and I'm just like, this woman, like, I would not do what you're doing, but her man loves it. So even when you're talking about like her man, it works for them. But I'm like, bruv,
so whatever works for your
relationship. Because relationships are different. That's what I was saying earlier, like, if you're submitting, whatever submission means to you, you're submitting to your man, works for your relationship, then do that. It's not about what works in my relationship. And I say, like, we can have a heated argument. Mr. Man will come up and say, do you know what I like? I like that even though we disagree, afterwards you're actually having a normal conversation. But sometimes you can have a heated argument and you're like, this is very awkward.
And then you just don't know how to come back.
How do we move forward? But no, we can have a conversation and then we'll finish it up. Yeah, so, you know what we're saying? So to him, it's kind of like, I really like this, because it's like, we're just having different opinions about what we're talking about. But it doesn't make me right, it doesn't make you right.
But sometimes like people are arguing. I think where it goes wrong is when people are arguing to be right. You can feel the energy.
Definitely, that's what the problem is.
Well, so you need to grow.
You need to grow.
We have room for heated arguments. And then even when we finish, it's not an argument. I was just saying my piece. I'm like, no, I want you to hear my piece. I'm like, no, I want you to hear my piece.
And that's
I can't remember who I was listening to, whether it was Sarah Jakes. I can't remember who it was, but they were basically talking about healthy arguments, because the arguing is not the issue.
Yeah,
like
it's a type of voice.
Yeah, it's a type of argument that you're bringing to the table. Like men should be able, and women should be able to create the room and having that grey space for people to be free, because the problem where women find themselves in is like they don't feel like they can be free to express themselves, and then
without being cold,
without
strong-headed.
Exactly.
That's what I was even going to say about Kalfani and Denise. I feel like she wasn't strong; she was being defensive, and she felt like she had to protect herself.
But
and that's
is she not the one that was abused?
Yeah, and she was being
vulnerable. Why couldn't?
Well.
So I'm thinking like, why can't you read that instead of like rejecting it? Do you get what I mean? Like,
that allow her
jealous girls. Yeah, he did not create a safe environment.
I think that's another problem as well when we get into a relationship, that I find that
and he just branded it masculine.
We don't take time to investigate where our other person is coming from. Because if you find out what kind of family someone grew up in, what kind of atmosphere they grew up in, or what kind of relationships as well they've dated, because it's not just about your family home. It's even the past relationships make you the person you are today. Unfortunately, you're facing somebody new. Some people can detach themselves from their previous relationships into a new relationship. Not like as in getting into a new relationship. Like, for me, just because X, Y, and Z did such and such to me, I shouldn't be judging A because of their past. You understand? Because of what I've been treated like. I treat every relationship as a new page. You don't know me, I don't know you. We're getting to know each other, regardless of the stuff that has happened behind us. So, but other people, like, let's say you're coming from an abusive relationship. It's abusive. Like when you start having arguments, you probably start thinking,
you get triggered.
Exactly. Start thinking, oh my God, what would you do if I keep on saying what I'm trying to say? I need you to understand my piece. Because sometimes men or women listen to reply, but never listen to actually
that's what
to
I'm saying.
understand.
They're not answer. They're not listening to understand.
You're not understanding the conversation.
Yes.
So when we start understanding each other, like we're coming from previous different kind of relationships, different kind of backgrounds, where you're saying like probably she needed a set space to be able to express herself and be vulnerable, like in a healthy way, right? But then you have a man who makes you feel like
she was being honest.
You feel to be jealous and all of, you know what I'm saying? So if you don't create, if we don't understand each other and where we are coming from, our relationships will never last, or our relationship will never really last, or even have any kind of depth to them. Because you're just judging someone's like, oh, you're so brass. Oh, why don't you just speak a little bit better than that? Oh, why don't you do this? I'm like, excuse me.
And even and the shameful part is like, even if you really actually love that person, you want to be with them, but because you've had so much pulled and torn off that relationship, it becomes toxic. And it's kind of like you're just bringing out the worst in each other. And by the time you want to work things out, all of those bad memories are already stored in your mind that you can't move past it. It's like you're already
them up and
and it's like
it's going
to take too much work to
that's
deal
what they
with.
say with cheating and stuff like that. If you know you can't forgive the person,
why stay married?
Because it's going to torture.
Because you're going to bring it up. It's going to be like, oh, your phone's ringing. Oh, it's like, but do you remember the time when you done it?
Or like when you
I'll end up leaving you myself. What is that?
Someone sleeping.
First ID.
Or you hear the phone vibrate, you look over the phone like, relax. It's my alarm.
I think that was one of those things that I kind of like hated. Like, you know, when your man comes out, leaves the room, you want to see, or either they go to take a shower, you want to check what's in the drawers, when you've been to their house and you want to check all of that stuff.
That's toxic,
makes you feel so insecure. Whereas we are supposed to be creating that space. If I can create that space for you to feel secure with me, knowing that if I go out, nothing is going to happen, and I trust you with my heart to do exactly the same thing as I'm doing.
It's definitely
It's like, if you're gonna forgive, then completely wipe everything out. Like, don't keep bringing it back up.
That's
like,
true,
don't keep being like.
You do have people that even though like you decided to forgive them, just like, okay, you forgive me.
They take advantage.
You know, they won't even try to make the effort to. You have to be extra cautious. You've broken something, so now you have to take time.
Because trust is earned. Once you've broken it,
you need to earn
most
it
likely
back.
you were there. I just trusted you because I'm like, you know, I like you, so I'm trusting you with me, even though I don't know you, right?
Yeah.
But once you break it, now you have to earn my trust. You can't just have it just like that. So I think it's just literally, it's more the whole basis that we are culture, sometimes the way men behave towards women or labeling women is cultural.
Yeah.
Because they were born to think men are supposed to be this and women are supposed to be this. But then, of course, things are changing in terms of, you know, going to work, doing what we do, coming back home as well. Of course, you are working as well. We are all going to work and coming back. So it's now leveling the playing field, and it's saying like you need to start adjusting as well to the way things are now. It's no longer the olden days where you just expected yes sir, yes sir,
yes sir,
yes sir, yes sir. It's no longer like, even though you know people are like, yeah, that's what you say, but you just do what they tell you. It's okay. You know that.
But can women also be real though? Like, let's be real. Like, women, I feel like we want guys to be able to look after us.
Oh yeah,
100%.
I feel like we're pushing like a whole narrative that like, I'm your man.
Yeah, but that's not me. Sorry,
not you, but
the general
generally,
consensus.
this is the narrative, and I feel like guys are responding to that.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I mean, if it's not bad,
Like, you women want to be independent, but yeah, I get what you mean.
I think it's like, you know, it's going to a point where you have a generation of men who don't really aspire to be anything anymore.
They're lazy.
Call it how it is.
You know what is this? There's no longer the whole, you know, you want to be somebody and you're pushing towards those goals and you want to be this, right? You just want to sit at a bridge. You wake up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You're still living with your parents, even though you are over 30. You don't do anything. Anyway,
what if he's thinking to buy a house?
No, there's a difference.
No, it's the mindset.
No, exactly. He is thinking of buying a house. There's a difference in you staying with your parents, with your brother, with your sister, because you're trying to save, because you have a goal, an end goal.
Yeah.
Majority of these boys have no goals at all, and the problem of it has been we have been grinding and pushing, going to school. We want to do so many things. We want to achieve a lot. You know what I'm saying? We want to achieve a lot of things. When these guys are like sitting in corners and all of these, you know,
so
what are you
so unattractive. It's like,
you know, those tracksuits and, you know,
leave the tracksuits alone. Leave the tracksuits. I like the tracksuits, okay?
No, do you know what? It's so true, because someone was telling me a story of their friend, like they're way past their 30s and they literally got more than one baby mum, for example. I can't remember how many, but he literally goes from like, he lives on like sofa to sofa, like to around his baby mum. Yeah, he literally sofa surfing. But he's got so much potential. That's the thing. It's like some females allow this type of behaviour.
Of course they do.
So it's like, if we are giving men that space to do that, then what, we can't blame them for doing that. Which is why we end up people saying like we want to be independent. No, it's not that. It's just because if I'm waking up every day and I'm working 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and I'm coming home, you are coming to be sofa surfing in my house, you are eating my food. I
will cost you.
My food, my electricity. Food, electricity, water, everything. You're just here eating and doing what?
That's so unattractive.
It's so unattractive.
I can't. So that's why you find that. I was just like, no, please. And
that is where disrespect comes in. It's like, because I feel like women, genuinely, it's natural for us to be submissive. I think it's built in us, but we're forced to not be in a way. What I mean is, like, when you see a guy that he's not earning, the type of guy that you're talking about, he's a bum basically, it's kind of hard to respect that kind of man.
Do you get what I mean?
Then also we do have females. I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but I know I'm like a project girl. It's like, I've been a project girl, like, oh, he's got potential. Okay. And I know what I have within me. I know I can help you. I can help you be better. But then sometimes they don't be better.
That's the thing. That's a question that came up. Should you marry a potential?
No, I don't think you should. I don't think you should marry. That's what I was saying.
But everybody has potential.
Everyone has potential. But what if you don't live up?
What I think is, if someone has potential before you get married, they gotta be somewhere before you get married.
You need to have that talk.
You gotta see that potential kind of starting to materialize.
Exactly.
I need to see the vision. It's not just about, okay, I have a vision. Like, we can all write visions, write it down, make it plain. We can all do that. Yeah. But can you take steps towards that vision?
Are you even taking steps?
Exactly. So if you ain't taking those steps, so we can't just say people have potential when it's like, you know, when you see someone like, you know, when you sit down with them, like, you know, apart from the weed and all this drinking and everything else, if you actually sit with the person, you see they have potential. No. I'm not talking about that potential.
Yeah, that type of guy.
honey, start showing your potential. Then maybe
you're working at least.
Working
even
at
if
it.
you're living like sofa to sofa, or you don't have a stable place, but you're grinding, you're working. I can see that you're actually
doing.
You've got a purpose. Yeah, like you're fighting for your life, for like to get better. Then that type of potential, yeah, I'm with you. Like I think I can
potential that I cannot see.
Yeah.
No, move along, please. Thank you.
Just the mindset, right?
Yeah, it's all about the mindset, and I think something that you said earlier. It's like these are discussions that you need to have in the beginning before you actually get in the relationship. Like, so what's your relationship like with money? You know, how do you view
Can
gender
I see your
roles?
bank account?
Who was it that said that? Who was that preacher that was
your bank account?
what do you
Jakes.
do? No, it wasn't him. He was like, how do you react when you get angry?
No,
are you
craft or dollar?
Yes, that video was sick. It's like you need to actually ask specific questions.
Yeah, because it's like, you know when people say like, oh, I love you, oh, I want this. No. Shut up. You're loving me. You haven't seen the broke me. You haven't seen the broke me. You haven't seen the angry me.
Yes.
You haven't seen the pity party me. You haven't experienced
the sick me.
Before you start saying before you say let's get married. You understand?
Because what happened when I get sick? Are you going to be around?
Are you going to be okay to take care of me, or are you going to be looking and start dating somebody else? No, those are the things that you start thinking about. Like,
exactly. When a woman's pregnant, like, how is it if for example you are deprived from having sex for a long time? Yeah,
because sometimes it's too. It's just traumatic. You can't do anything even though you want to, but you can't because the body is just not allowing you to do that. Are you going to be there and be supportive, be the man and everything else?
Exactly.
This is what I'm saying. Like, it's the whole. It's lovely. You know when you meet people and it's more affection. It's like it's more love at first sight. It's the everything about you just makes me feel some type of way.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But we're talking about, even though that's not the case.
Yeah.
Can you handle me being sick?
Yeah.
Can you handle that if
me not
when
having
I get
a job?
pregnant, I can't get the same money that I'm getting now. I'm gonna be getting less than half of what I earn. Can you still handle to carry this house on your own as the little that we have? Can you handle finances? I got a lot of debt. Can you handle the
Talk
fact
about
that
the
I'm
debt? Yeah.
Are you able to understand?
Are you willing to carry each other's debt?
You know what I'm saying? Can you see, like, okay, this is the debt that you got. Okay, we need to do this and this. This is what we want to do for our future.
Yeah.
But for us to be able to do that, we need to get rid of this debt. Because if we marry,
or are you gonna think?
If we marry, that's debt. This debt is
not even when we get married though. But are you gonna be like, but that's your debt. That's not my debt.
No. Even when you get married, the fact that you change names, that debt is on your name.
And how do you feel about carrying his baggage as
well? That's what I'm saying.
Like, imagine if he had like 20k.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna lie.
These pros and cons are both ways. It's not just about just me alone. It's about him as well. What kind? Like, let's be honest. Financially, how much do you bring home every month?
No, I would
because finances is one of the biggest
issues of How much do you bring home every end of the month?
Why are you not getting a better job? Like, why is it that you keep hopping from jobs to jobs?
You know what I mean? Like, what is exactly going on? Because you're not, as I say, like, you start thinking about things about forever.
Yeah, no.
Honey, love doesn't pay the bills.
You know what I mean? So you gotta start working on those things. Like, let's be realistic. It's no longer about hips, lips, and and thighs. It's not just about that.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, if someone comes to me that got massive debt, I think the first instant will probably be like, I'm sorry, but you need to clear your debt.
Yeah,
like you're the capital Y.
But he had debt and he didn't want to propose to his wife until he
that's mature.
Yeah, he was just
but this is the thing, isn't it? When you talk about it and say, okay, so someone will probably say, he's probably from a man's perspective, he wants to be the provider in the house.
Yeah,
so he feels like if he comes into this marriage with all of this debt, that means he's not able to provide as much as he wanted for his wife. So you would rather sort this bit out, like you're saying, you want to marry me, sort all of this.
Yeah.
Excuse my French. Yeah. Sort it out.
If they do want
you
to
have
marry,
the potential. Well. Exactly. You have the potential. Yeah. Like I say, you do have the potential, but I ain't coming in because you have potential. I want to see it. Start acting on it.
And then we can start talking about that. Because you would appreciate them more because of the honesty, because that's something that can easily be hidden. And imagine you get married and like what you're saying, you automatically become one and you carry that debt.
You want to go and buy something.
Wow, like you actually didn't even tell me
you applied for something.
Like, but the fact that he actually had that mindset I think
That's
if that was
maturity.
me, I would be like, you know what? Actually, I want to help you.
Yeah.
And that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
You could actually do things like that. Say, okay, fine, this is what you have. Okay, fine, let's work on this debt together. Let's pay it. Or if people were living together or whatever the case is, you say, okay, fine, this is how our salary are going to work out. This is what normally you can afford to pay the home and everything else. We're left with so much. So if we're left with £1,000 every month, how about we sacrifice the 500 to pay off this debt? That means within 6 months this debt is paid and it's gone.
Yeah.
Then we can start living our life and do more things, and we're flexible to do whatever we want to do after that.
Yeah.
Then no problem at all.
Yeah.
The problem is when you say if things are hidden, or you want to pretend to be something
I
that you're
think
not.
again, it just goes back to safety there, especially like in this day and age. It's like, who can you trust?
Yeah, and men
People are
feel that as well,
blasting
isn't
their
it?
like rubbish, their personal lives on social media. Like, it's just a crazy time that we're in. It's like, who can I trust? Like, can I trust you?
Because men won't feel like safe enough, because as a man they know that they carry that responsibility. So it's like, can I even tell you? It's probably like a shameful thing to them.
Yeah.
The fact that they've got this amount of debt, it's like, can I tell you? And how are you gonna respond to me? Like, so some men might lie not because they want to lie, but because they just don't know
How you would
react. Yeah. And that's a part of how women. That's women's fault, is what I'm trying to say. Like, that's the way women have reacted.
I need a man that makes 5 niggas. I need a man that makes
I need a man that's gonna
buy
Birkin.
Birkin.
And it's like,
For what?
Go and buy
most
yourself.
of the times that you see these people with Birkin, they're Americans. So it's like we are
And they're
adopting.
celebrities.
It's like we are adopting this American lifestyle in the UK. And it's like, I can't stand that. That's like another.
You don't get paid the way they're getting paid.
Exactly. It's like, even because I know my friend's sister is getting about 41,000 per month.
Yeah.
$41,000 per month.
Wow.
Do what?
She's a nurse.
Oh yeah, they get paid better. I'm in Canada.
So now you think, if you're getting 41,000, that's like someone's salary in the UK per year.
Yeah, and
she
she
gets
gets
that
that
a month.
You're getting it per month. Yes, she gets that per month. So she can afford to do the, apple bottoms, or what's it called, those, the red bottoms.
Oh, Apple.
The Louis
Vuittons and all that. She can afford to do that kind of life because you have it. And then there's the problem, like you're saying, you're watching social media thinking, oh, I want this kind of life, and you go and put yourself in debt, and you want a man to be that for you, to do all of those things for you.
Yeah, but these
it's not realistic.
It's not realistic. So, the reality of it is, there's going to be babies. There was a time when I would be like, I'm going to town, I can blow £200 in one go, don't even think anything about it. Now I'm just thinking, oh, she needs this, she needs that. Oh yeah. Even my family actually hate giving me money or vouchers for Christmas.
Because you're going to spend
or for my birthday. For my birthday, normally they give me vouchers. They know that as soon as I get out of that house,
you're going to get something
I'll go get something for my child rather than getting it for
Yeah.
myself. And my aunt is like, why did you just get yourself something? I mean, like, we give it to you, it's for you. It's like, I know. But then I was like, but then when I get into the shop, I'm looking for something for myself. I'm like, oh, that's really nice. It's like my mind is already switched to mothering mode. Like, I never think like I want to do this for myself. Like, I will. But so even if a man comes into my
your
life,
priorities change.
Your priorities change to thinking like you have children now.
Yeah.
Those,
or even like when you have a man,
this.
it's like sometimes. Like, if I go shopping, like, and I'll just want to think, oh my god, like, that would look nice on him, or that would look nice on him.
Yeah.
Like, it's like your priorities just change. Like,
who's him?
Mr. Man.
Mr. Man. Do you get what I mean? But it's like, but if you are young and you're just out there, you don't really have like a purpose, and you just like seeing different guys, you just want that lifestyle that is so fake, then you'll just
go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I wouldn't personally, even if I had the money, would not blow it on a Birkin. I just can't.
No, because your mindset is probably like, I could put that on a mortgage, or I could get a car, or it's like your priorities, and maybe that comes with maturity and wisdom and age.
And even some of it also comes from our parents as well. When you have parents who've always, like, taught you from an early age, like, learn to save your money, like, learn to have an ambition, like, be something, especially if you have ambitious parents. Like, some of us, like, when parents were constantly, like, grinding 100%. And forever learning, like, are you ever going to finish going to school? There was
it's true. It's like their masters. What's happened to the masters?
There's a PhD. They keep on going and going
doctors
and going. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of how, if you brought up in a kind of household like that, you want to strive to be almost, or rather you're pushed to say you need to be. This is the standard of this family. You need to learn. You need to go to school.
Live
you need
by
to
the
get an
standard.
education. You understand? Or you can just have the normal government cheese. Your parents are on benefits. You are on benefits. You have a child living with your parents on benefits, and have your child is on benefits. It's like third, fourth, fifth generation benefits, and that's just it. There's nothing else. Nobody wants to go to work. Everybody's on benefits.
Like that lifestyle.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
You know what? Yeah, it's just like they just enjoy that. So what's the point of working? I just get the money. I'll just do what I do.
And just chill.
Leave the minimum basics when you can actually go and grind and actually leave.
And actually will have more and more babies, because the more you have, like the more money you'll get.
You don't do that anymore?
You can't do that.
No. Used to be. I have a vision, so they'll say why he's like that is because his parents never told him, hey, polish your shoes, cut your hair, $5 in your pocket. When you're going out with a girl, pull out the chair, close the door.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was interesting.
That's how we got there.
Very interesting conversation. But yeah, thank you, ladies, for joining me on the breakfast table today. In today's conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comment section. It was very interesting. Do you have any final words? No.
Work with the potential if you can see it.
Okay, my final words are: work on yourself to be the best version for the partner that you want.
I love both of them, because I love that if, because that if was very important. Like, if. Okay. And I love that as well. Definitely work on yourself, man. It's so important.
Exactly.
Because then it's like, then you know what exactly you're looking for.
And you're better for the person, as you said, you're better for the person you're going to be with.
Also,
just
work on
those.
Do you get what I mean?
Hallelujah.
Because it's not just about women. Like, women are, what's that word? Like being victims. Like, women are just...
It's the men we're getting to as well. Like
no, we're not victims, please.
You know, they are women who are out there who are actually doing the same things we're talking about men treating us. We're treating men like that.
It's true.
Also, I feel like it empowers you to have more of a choice as well. I feel like you just accept whatever comes your way.
And they can stand as well, think like, oh, look at her, look what she's got, and look at how much she's carrying. They already see it, and I'm like, I might need to be stepped up my game here.
Because some men actually do feel intimidated by successful women.
Then you're not the man for me, Olga.
No, it's like in general, because they're like, wow, like I need to, because it will push them to feel like I need to actually step up.
So either step up or step back.
You want to be
two choices.
But then either way, both choice will benefit you, because it's like at least it will filter out the nonsense. Do you know what I mean? And it will filter out like the bad guys that you don't want, and actually you will get good quality men coming to your flocking towards you, and then you can make your choice.
Exactly.
But then if you don't present yourself in a certain way, then you're going to get any Tom, Dick and Harry, and you're going to be like, why are these men coming to you? Well, because of the way you present yourself.
Work on yourself. It's true. Work on yourself. Literally. Word.
Boom. Well, guys, thank you so much. If you are new to my channel, feel free to subscribe, and I'll speak to you guys in my next video.